What the hell is going on, everyone? We are 8 days away from Christmas Day, and we are 177 days away from Disclosure Day. That is the new Steven Spielberg movie that is coming out, and it feels like there is going to be a lot of truth in fiction in this movie. Spielberg is famous for putting little nuggets in all of the films he's made, whether it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., The Adjustment Bureau. All of these movies over time have seemingly had these little nuggets of truth in them, and I think Disclosure Day is going to be no different. The official trailer has just dropped. We're going to check it out, and I'm going to give you my opinions on it and what I think this movie is going to be about. And I'm really excited because I found something in this trailer that I've not seen many people talking about, and I've seen nobody make this direct connection. So I'm excited to show you that. My name is Josh. Welcome to Polarity. If you're interested in the UAP phenomenon and the wider weird reality that we live in, make sure you subscribe because we dig into it either live or in a video almost every single day.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
So this is the X account for Disclosure Day, and they've dropped the trailer here, which we'll watch in just a second, but they also put out these two new movie posters, which we haven't seen before. So this one obviously looks quite similar to the billboards that we saw in Times Square. We've got that silhouette of a bird kind of making the shadow on her face. And you'll notice that this cardinal bird seems to be a running theme in the trailer as well. Same with this kind of deer. There is this recurring theme of these animals all throughout the trailer. Anyway, let's jump into that. So we'll let this trailer run all the way through, and then we'll wind it back and kind of talk about the different parts of it.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today is today's.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm gonna show you.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
People keep wondering, encountering the unknown.
They're coming! They're coming!
They are starved for the truth.
Do you think there could be others?
Why would he make such a vast universe? Yet save it only for us?
So I guess straight away, like the main big thing that we see throughout this trailer is there is like a heavy religious context going all throughout this, but we did already know this, right? We found out earlier, much earlier this year, that this movie was being filmed inside of a church with nuns, and that this was going to have like a very heavy religious context. Like we did know this. And interestingly, there's no sign of any UFOs. There's no sign of any aliens, right? Just like real life. Now, they might be saving that for the movie itself, but I honestly feel like this movie is going to be far more about humans tapping into a higher dimension, connecting with something higher. And I think we see elements of that throughout the rest of the trailer as well. Here's an example of that, the cardinal bird. And this is just the first time that we see it in the trailer, but it appears multiple times. It's the silhouette on the movie poster as well. Now, interestingly, the first thing I thought of when I saw this cardinal bird was Matthew Brown's Twitter post that he did earlier in the year, where he said, "Go Cardinals," and everyone was kind of a little bit unsure what he meant. In fact, I still don't quite know. But from my understanding, what a cardinal can represent is a message from the afterlife, and that they are some kind of potential conduit or messenger from another dimension or from another realm. At least that is what they symbolize. Now, the cardinal bird is a recurring theme that seems to happen throughout this trailer a lot, but it's not the only instance of what I feel like, as I said, is going to be a movie about humans tapping into a higher consciousness or even a higher intelligence. This part's interesting. It seems like this guy's in the middle of a field as a crop circle begins to appear around him. If you actually look closely, the crop circle is kind of growing and developing as the camera pans out. And the way, it's hard to see, but the way that he's looking at the ground and looking at what's happening around him, it seems like he's unaware. I feel like this is some kind of message to him and he's trying to make sense of it. At least that's how it kind of comes across here, which again is another example of something trying to contact humans from a higher realm, from a realm that is not visible. Again, just like the fact that in this trailer, this is about disclosure, yet there are no signs of aliens. There are no signs of UFOs. In my opinion, this is about something non-physical from a higher dimension. This short little scene here is really interesting. In fact, it's probably the closest thing that we actually do get to seeing any form of alien or something non-human. Because if I'm to try and read into this and tell you guys what I think is happening here, it is the main character at the back realizing that some humans are perhaps not who they appear to be, or that they might be wearing a mask or something like that. Because if you look closely, at the start of this shot here, you can see the actor is sort of like an older, short-haired blonde woman on the right-hand side. And as he passes her, which is a nice little camera trick, she's a completely different person. My interpretation of that is that some people are perhaps not who they appear to be. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think about that one. As the trailer picks up and it kind of gets really tense towards the end, we see this little shot here of what seems like a raid with these sort of black-clad military-looking people, which is something that we hear about a lot. People who are often from perhaps like the Department of Energy or working in some kind of special operations team dealing with the cover-up of non-human intelligence and the associated technology, often are spoken about wearing these kind of uniforms. Now, I don't know if that's what this is. Maybe some kind of like Men in Black thing, but from the vibe of the trailer in this part here, it just really feels like they're coming in to kind of steal or hide information. This scene here is also featured a couple of times in the trailer as well. And to me, it definitely looks like at least how you would assume some kind of like spy agency is depicted, or what a spy agency looks like on the inside. I mean, they're watching something, right? They're watching things. They're watching many things. And what do spy agencies do? They watch many things. So I think clearly we're going to see some kind of involvement between high-level military, high-level intelligence, and how it is tied to perhaps the dissemination of the truth. Because there's this part in the trailer where they say,
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world.
and just from the feel and the theme that you get from this trailer, it feels like that's what this is going to be about. The struggle between someone who's trying to get the truth out and perhaps some sinister higher forces that are trying to stop that from happening. And that seems like the battle between good and evil, or the hero and the antagonist. And just before we get to the big part and I show you guys some pretty cool comparison clips that I think line up with what we see here, I want to just mention that they say there's only 7 billion people in the world, but like I feel like it's a pretty well-known sort of fact that we are over 8 billion right now, and it kind of has been that way for a while. So I don't know if maybe we're reading too much into this. Maybe it's a mistake. I don't know. But I'm curious if there's anything to that. Are they alluding to the fact that maybe there are a billion non-humans here on Earth with us, and that's the rough estimate? Because how many times have we heard that they walk among us? They look just like us, that they're here, they're among us. So many people who have been in places to know have come out and said things like this. I could be reading too much into that one, but I think it's at least worth noting here. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. So the main big thing that I want to talk about here is this scene where we hear some of the creepiest noises of all time. Let's listen to this one more time, and then I'm going to show you where we've heard this before.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today.
Listen.
Let's. Today is. Today's.
Here. Those pops. I mean, those pops are so strange, specific, and eerie. And when you watch the actress, it seems like something is sort of coming over her in that moment, right? It's almost like something is hijacking her consciousness. You see her go from the news reporter, and then her eyes kind of change and her whole demeanor shifts right here, like she's going into some kind of trance or something is taking over her. Now, if you've watched this channel for a little while, you guys know that I am a fan of Bashar. If you don't know who Bashar is, he is an entity that is allegedly channeled by this man here whose name is Daryl Anchor. And what is interesting about Daryl Anchor is that when he goes into his sort of channeling mode and begins to channel Bashar, he makes the exact same noises that that lady makes in that trailer. And this is him doing it live in 2025. And look, I've often said this about Bashar. Sometimes when he speaks in this channeled mode, or even watching him go into it, it kind of looks funny. It almost makes you raise an eyebrow and go like, really? Is this guy for real? But as I've always said, the things that he says when he's channeling this entity called Bashar, they work. And I can say that from a firsthand experience. They can improve your life 100%. So let's watch this clip here of Daryl slipping into his sort of channel state, and keep an ear out for the noises that he makes when he does it, because they are identical.
Later.
Okay, here he goes. Listen up. You hear that?
I want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all?
And then he goes on and does his channeling. And, you know, again, you know, when he sort of pops out and he all of a sudden becomes Bashar, it is quite funny. And I kind of get that people struggle to deal with it. But to me, those sounds are kind of crazy, right? That we're seeing that. Now, this video was posted 3 months ago. So, you know, just in case anyone's going to say that maybe he had inside intel, okay, to this movie or anything like that, I have another quick example that I'll show you guys that is from 2023. Okay, this is before, I think this movie was probably maybe not even written at this point.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you all. Please have a good time. I'll see you later. Okay, give me just a minute.
Even that breathing sounds so weird. Honestly, absolutely wild. We're going to listen to the actual trailer in a sec just so you can compare it. But look, just take note of his hands here. This might be reading it into it a little bit too much as well. But take note of what he's doing with his hands and then take a look at the trailer.
Let's take a look at today.
They're not quite the same, but they are together.
Let's. Today is. Today's.
Dude, that is the same sound. I'm telling you. Like I said, I think this movie is going to be about channeling and connecting with a higher form of intelligence, non-physically and non-locally. And you guys have been asking me for a long time about doing a read-through of the raw material, The Law of One, and I've been saying I'll do it. And I actually have the clips for the intro, which Rambro helped me out with. Shout out to you, brother. And it's kind of been on the back burner while I've been moving overseas. But I feel like this, with where it seems like this movie is headed, it's a good little kick up the bum to kind of get started with that. So we will get onto the Law of One stuff very, very soon.
What are you gonna do?
So this brings me to one last bit here that I want to show you guys a little clip from. We see this person sitting here wearing some kind of thing on his head that he seems to then go into like a trance state here, where again, it seems like his consciousness is affected, like he's slipping into a trance, channeling, or perhaps connecting with something else, right? And we see this happen with a few people. The pupils in their eyes completely dilate and change. Now, again, this could be reading into it a little bit too much, but I want to show you guys this little clip that I remember seeing from Danny Sheehan when he was on the Area 52 podcast.
This thing with psionics is the first time I heard it. And I was sworn to secrecy when I was told about the psionic. It's called psionic assists. That there's a technology that they've got that developed that is amping up the capacities of individuals to do telepathic communication.
Wow, an actual technology.
Yeah, and I call it psionic assist, and it's very dangerous, and it's frying out the brains of people that they're testing, and but they still keep on doing it, and it's very dangerous, very dangerous.
But it's working.
It's working enough to keep them doing it, despite what the consequences are. But there are pilots, American pilots, that have been subjected to this thing and are just killed them, actually. And they keep doing it. They've got this opinion that if you're in the military, you're ours, and we can do whatever we want. But they spend millions training these guys, and they're risking everything.
Are there any current investigations going on with this?
There's one that we're in the process of putting together. I'm in communication with guys in the Justice Department.
Psionic assist helmets helping people achieve different states of consciousness. He said it can fry their brain as well. And, that guy looks like he's definitely under a lot of stress. I don't know if these are the same kind of things, but they definitely sound similar. And everything that we've kind of seen there keeps me pretty firm in the idea that we are going to be seeing a movie that is less about nuts and bolts, UFOs and aliens, and more about humans connecting to a higher consciousness and a higher intelligence. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. So get in the comments. Let me know where you think this movie is headed. And while you're down there, chuck a like on the video and come and join the conversation over on Discord. The link for that is below. It's free for everyone and it's active 24/7. And if you want to support the channel even further, you can become a member for $5 a month. But we do also have 20% off our Weirdo merch store for Christmas. The code is WeirdoXmas. You can use that as you check out. That's going to be running till the end of the year, so jump on that while it's still available. You can also support me by buying me a coffee straight from that QR code. But ultimately, I just appreciate you guys being here. So until next time, guys, keep being good to each other. Be kind, get outside, touch some grass, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.